one thing I said, I don't know, was it last week? Sorry guys, I just got to turn it down a little bit. Now, one of the things that I said last week was, well, from now on, I'm always going to start with a positive story. Because, like, who the fuck am I to ruin people's days, right? So let's just start off the rip. Positive story. Fucking hell. Manchester United won the FA Cup. When I tell you guys, I felt like a kid in a candy store when I saw the result. I didn't actually watch the game. I have like bad luck. Whenever I watch United play, we lose. You know? I've seen us been up by 3-0 at halftime or 2-0 at halftime. I've never seen us lose from 3-0, but I've seen us tie. 2-0, I've seen us lose 1-0. Yep. As long as there's time on the clock, we're probably going to lose when I'm watching, right? And we had a shit year. But, my God. Last game of the season, we came in clutch. We came in clutch. We beat those fucking cheating cunts, right? And people who aren't aware, we first Manchester City. And they're basically owned by one of the Arab royal families. And they've been funneling money illegally to the players. So they currently have a bunch of charges. If, like, you know, I don't know how it works, but legally if they get proceeded with, then they'll be in trouble, apparently. But regardless, positive news. Manchester United are FA Cup champions. And that means we qualify to compete in the Europa League next year, which is a European tournament for, I wouldn't say the best clubs. The best clubs compete in the Champions League. We didn't qualify for that. So second-rate clubs, which is honestly where we're at right now, you know? So I'll take it. I'll be surprised if we win it. We won that like a couple of years ago, but if we win it again, if we make the finals and I can afford it, best believe I'm fucking flying over. Like, no questions asked. Like, that's the shit that I'll be there like, boom, bro. Even if we lose it, I wouldn't be too upset. Just to get there, I'll be very impressed with the team. But regardless, that's the positive news of the week. Now, let's find something negative to talk about, yeah? And I don't think this is negative, but I love Asian food. Specifically Japanese food, right? Like, fuck. I like to believe I could eat Japanese food every day. You know? When it comes to the fucking tonkatsu curry, the sushi, the sashimi, even their sake, their alcohol is not bad. But the only problem with Asian food, right? And it's more when you try a new one than when you go to a place that you know. Like, it'll be delicious. You'll be like, oh my God, this shit is amazing. The way they cook this chicken, you'll be eating it. 7 bites in, delicious. 10 bites in, delicious. Then on that next bite, you're like, that definitely was not chicken that I just ate. You know, that's the only problem with Asian food. As much as I love it, when you're eating it, like, sometimes you just have a bite of something, you're like, what the fuck did I just eat? You know, because it was a meat, pause, but what kind of meat, you know? A bird? Yes, definitely. Now, was it a chicken? No. I know what chicken tastes like. Was it a rooster? I'm going to say no, because I assume they taste like chicken. But I might have eaten a pigeon, you know? And the pigeons haven't been as common lately in Footscray, you know? And I got the food on this. I like to say I'm joking, but I don't know. I might have eaten a pigeon. It wasn't bad though. I just was kind of confused because it wasn't what I expected. Now, yeah, was it yesterday? Maybe it was today. I went, there's a liquor store literally 7 steps in front of my crib, like a local one, right? And I go in there, every now and again I get a drink. Now, I was rushing, so I go in there, I grab like a 4-pack, and I don't drink like hard liquor. I drink like, let's say, the equivalent of a White Claw, right? So like a seltzer, like a 196 for the Australians. It's very light alcohol. And I go in there, and the guy goes to me. Now, I've been working all day, sitting on my desk, so I go in wearing my trackies. I put on some shoes and a hoodie, right? I don't think much. When I'm home, I don't wear underwear. Let me just caveat that. So I go into this place, I walk in, and the guy is like, oh, like, are you local? Now, I'm kind of annoyed because I'm like, mom, nigga, you see me every week. And I tell you, I live right down, like, you can see my actual, like, not room, but my apartment from here, from the liquor store. So I'm like, yeah, man, I've met you multiple times. And he's like, oh, I can tell. I can tell. And I was like, oh, you finally remembered me? And he, in my head, he's like, oh, cause you're not wearing underwear. I was like, huh? I forgot that I wasn't even wearing underwear at the time. And mind you, I wasn't even like, it was cold. Let me just say that. So in my head, I'm like, no one can even tell. This nigga, and then the way he starts like laughing kind of and holding his mouth, I'm like, and trying not to look down. I was like, ugh, nigga, like, what the fuck? You could just try to make it normal, man. But that triggered me to the point I never wear trackies outside, really, like that. And I never don't wear underwear outside, let alone trackies. But that was enough. That was the cue. Like how we wear underwear and stop wearing trackies. Because obviously my dick's too big and it's intimidating these people. I'm sorry if you have a small dick. I don't mean to dick shame you. But according to my nigga down the street, it's obvious that he can see it. But it was fucking weird. Like, now every time I gotta go in there, I gotta think like, fuck, is this nigga looking at my penis? A homophobic nigga would have just fucking socked him. Nah. Would they? Would? Nah, they wouldn't. Or maybe they would. I don't know. It's kind of weird, huh? Now, that's not even the weirdest shit. I was having a conversation recently, and I think as men, we have this conversation with women all the time, and I think giving birth is overrated. Now, I'm not saying it's not hard. I'm not saying being a mum is not a hard job. Is it the hardest job in the world? Fuck no. Like, we have to get over that concept. It's not. Is giving birth hard? Yes. People die giving birth, right? You've seen the size of a fucking child come out. Now, the reason why I say it's overrated, because one, there's more women defending how hard it is to give birth than that never given birth compared to women that actually gave birth, right? Or that are actual mums. It's always women that have never given birth talking about, do you know how hard giving birth is? Bitch, we're on the same level. You've never given birth. What are you talking about? You don't know how hard it is. You've just seen what I've seen talking about how hard it is. And matter of fact, from what to be honest, every guy always says giving birth can't be that hard, right? Majority of guys. Now, if a woman gave birth and she's like, yeah, it was that hard, this, that, like, all right, cool. But then when you're arguing with girls that haven't even done it, you're like, bitch, how would you even know? Like, come on, just at least until you do it, be in the same wavelength as me. You know? Like, is giving birth harder than, I don't know, fucking breaking your wrist? And when I say giving birth, I mean like a natural birth, right? Like, it happened okay. Like, none of these complications and stuff. The complications are, it is what it is. And I could be wrong. But if we're being honest, if men had to give birth, like, oh, men don't give birth, men don't go through periods, men don't, yeah, you're right. Blame God, literally. Like, nothing we can do about it. But if men had to give birth, we would turn it into the most watched sport on earth. We'll be like, damn, bro, this nigga gave birth to 15 kids in 1 year. Or whatever. I mean, 9 months to hold. My point is, we would turn it into a sport. We would make it so profitable. We would make it the craziest thing. Unless it wasn't that hard. And then we'll just be like, all right, nigga, you just gave birth? All right, cool, move on. Now, the real question is, right, and this is the thing that I think you can bring this up to any modern, I think I say modern woman. I mean, like, girls under the age of 33, maybe 35, and have the concept of like, not that, birth's hard. I would ask them, would women, if men, Now, if men can give birth, are women going to be okay with child support? We want to keep the kid. We don't want you involved, but you have to pay for us raising it. Are women going to be okay with that? I don't think they would be, right? I think their tune would change quite a bit, right? The minute child support involves niggas, like getting money and women getting fucked over, I think the tune would change, you know? And mind you, I think men would weaponize it too, right? I think men would try to get pregnant by women that had good jobs. Like, would probably exploit it more than women. Like, I think would be better at exploiting it, to be honest, than women. But how do women feel about it now is what I was thinking about. I'm like, think about all, if you're a girl or if you're a woman, think about all the men you have had sex with, right? You make them wear a condom, or they wore a condom, or whatever it may be. They even might have got you pregnant. You took the birth control pill, whatever it may be. If you did it, that guy is stuck with you, right? Like, for life. Like, that's his kid. He's gonna pay the child support. Now, imagine that. All the guys you had sex with. Now, imagine they all got pregnant, right? And you say, I only had sex with 2 guys, 3 guys. Okay, one guy. That's not your boyfriend or your husband. Yeah, but now you're stuck with him for life because he decided to fucking keep the kid. You would not be okay with it. All you gotta do is change the roles, you know? And the minute you change the roles, I already know what's gonna happen. Like, and I don't want to be those podcasts that like bash women or look like that I'm bashing women, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to understand the logic. And it might not be logic, right? But I know the minute you bring this topic up to a girl, they're going to move the goalposts. Be like, yeah, but men don't have wage inequality or work in this and that. And maybe you're right, you know, maybe that would be an issue. But we're also talking hypotheticals here, right? I'm talking about men getting pregnant. So I'm not asking you about these other hypotheticals. Everything's the same. Are you okay with it? And I think if there's a conversation to be had, I think girls would not be okay with it because they understand there are like evil practices. And I don't think every woman now is okay with it. Every girl now is like, oh yeah, you can just like support every girl, right? There's hella girls out there, like Drea, you know? Like, she got pregnant by Jalen Green. He's a basketball player. 23, 22. This bitch is in her 30s. 30s? Late 30s? She got pregnant by him. Bam! She knew him when he was a child. I don't think it's grooming, as they say, but still. These are quote-unquote predatory practices. I don't think they are, you know? But that's how the world sees them. And I just want to keep a fair feel for everyone. I don't care either way. But I'm just putting it out there. Would women be okay if the roles were reversed and men were exploiting them for child support, to have kids, not to work? I don't think they would be, right? But I digress. That's not even the main topic of discussion. The first thing we're going to get into is the fucking movie 12 Strong with Chris Hemsworth.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
Now, is this movie out in America on Netflix? Because majority of you guys that listen are in America and Europe. And somebody in South America. Who keeps listening to this in South America? Fucking message me. Let me know who you are so I don't feel fucking weird, you know? Anyway, the concept of the movie, it's another military movie. It's 12 Strong. Now, it's the first military group to invade, was it Iraq or Afghanistan after 9/11? Now, the only problem with this movie is it stars Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, the fucking Aussie from Phillip Island, yeah? His accent, I wouldn't say it was American, but it wasn't Australian. But sometimes you could tell. But maybe I can tell because I'm Australian and I think I'm looking for it. Anyway, the concept is simple, right? After 9/11, they send in their first task force, or like the first group of guys to go in and find the Taliban and basically help a warlord take over like some region. And they have to basically keep the North Alliance of Iraq, also Afghanistan. together. Now, what they do is Chris Hemsworth and his team of 12 or 13, whatever it is, they go in and they're helping this warlord overtake the Taliban. Now, at the time, these niggas didn't have the intel as they do now. So they basically going in there, and this nigga's dealing with like fucking politics, right? And spoiler alert. And his whole thing is like, I'm gonna come back home to my wife and kids. And all these guys that have joined him, they're big actors, right? They've all joined him, and they're like, half of them are gonna retire. They're like, oh, we have to do it because of 9/11 happened. And to be honest, that's like a sentiment at least I can kind of comprehend, because I'm like, at the time, I can imagine what it felt like, especially if you've been serving your country this, for an extended period of time and you never went to war. Now, these niggas came and killed 10,000 people in your homeland, right? Like, I understand the concept of going, but these niggas throw themselves into the worst situations. They're dealing with like, if you have ethnic parents, imagine like if you come from an ethnic culture, the lackadaisical approach to life, right? The very like lethargic approach where it's like, yeah, it'll happen. Oh, we'll move next. That's the kind of warlord they're trying to help take over the Taliban. And the Taliban's out here fucking chopping necks for fun. Fucking, I'm seeing them throw rocks at women. Like, it's so intense, right? And like I said, the concept is they go in, they take over a city. They help these guys take over a city, and Chris Hemsworth promises his men that they'll all come back alive. And even during the mission, they told him, like, brother, you're not coming back alive. A lot of you guys are gonna die, and you have 6 weeks to do it. He's like, I'll do it in 3 weeks, right? And so, long story short, they're able to do it. A couple of the guys get shot, but no one dies. So everyone gets home safely. They take over the city. He becomes cool with the warlord, who at multiple times fucked him over. At multiple times. Like, there's so many scenes where he's about to go fight with him and everything, and then this nigga he like turns around. And when I say warlords, like, I don't know what it's like in these countries, right? In the villages. Like, I don't know. But these niggas are fighting on horseback. It is mental. Imagine having like an American weapon, but yet you're gonna fight on horseback. It is the intel they have. Everything is so fucking last minute. It's fucking crazy. And I actually assume that's what happened during that time, right? In the beginning. Nowadays, they're like, fuck it. And every time the warlord, because they don't start, obviously, like at the city they're going to invade. They meet up with the warlord, God knows where, and then they have to slowly go to that part. And on the way there's a bunch of Taliban hotspots. So they can call in airstrikes, but they have to get close enough so they can give exact coordinates. And all these niggas is doing, the warlord, they're like, oh yeah, they're here. And then these guys would come in, they would say, strike this area, boom, blow the fuck up. And then these guys would start celebrating, like, like going crazy. And I'm just like, bro, they're just using you niggas as like, like as a fucking bodyguards, right? Anyway, the warlord they help eventually becomes vice president of the country, like a long term. But it all works out. Would I recommend this movie? Now, that's the main thing. If you're a guy and you like very basic like war movies, I don't know. Because I ate an edible during the fucking movie like an idiot. But too much. I was so high that I got scared. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, niggas live like this? And I know they probably do. But it got to the point where I was so scared of like the kids in the military, all that stuff. I couldn't sleep. I thought my face was melting. I tried to watch a comedy afterwards. I couldn't because I was so high. And it's because of the weed that I ate, not smoked. If I smoked it would have been fine, but I ate it. I was so high. When I went to sleep, I woke up 4 times because my mouth was so dry. I've never had that happen before. My mouth was that dry. Imagine how much my breath stank if my mouth was that dry. But I would recommend it. Like, if you got nothing better to watch, But at most, I give it like between like a 6.5 and a 7 out of 10. Let's give it a 7. No. Because 6 is low. 6.5. 6.5 is a fair number. If you have nothing better to watch, I'd put it on. And it's not a movie you would ever watch again. But it's a good movie to watch once. If that makes sense. Anyway. The fun part. How to make money off AI. Let's roll. Bam. So, if this is why you're listening, and ironically, this might be why this might be more listened to in the future than any of my other episodes, because I do think I've found a key, or I found what's next, to quote unquote, right? So I work in the digital marketing space. If you've listened to one episode, you would know this. And I thought to myself, like, this is a fucking competitive space. It is so competitive. So many businesses, this. I'm like, look, we make money in it. It's saturated, oversaturated, and it's competitive. But a lot of these things people could do on their own. Now, I know AI is next. Like, AI right now is the Wild West. Like, we don't know, if we're being honest, we don't know what we can do with AI. So I was like, how can I implement AI in my system to save me money? Yeah? Or like offer it as a service. So a lot of times, you speak to people, you speak to small businesses, and they can't answer the phone or whatever, right? So I originally was like, how much does it cost to own a call center? Like, could I outsource that, this and that? Then I found an AI system that I kind of liked. And I was like, maybe we can like kind of flip this to have conversations with people within a certain amount of prompts. So that, like, if you call a business, it sounds like you're talking to a person, but really it's an AI. And they'll know how to guide you essentially from the questions you ask and how it responds. Like a ChatGPT. So I found these people online, and they were able to help me out. And they said, hey, we can basically build you out this idea you have. And I was like, word, perfect. I said, this is the concept I have. This is the idea that I have. Can this work with what you're offering? They said, yeah, no worries. So next week, like by the time you hear this, next week, the My Front Desk AI software will be released for the public in Australia. And essentially what it does is it will answer phone calls for any business. It will guide the person any information they need. You can book them in schedules and all that stuff, yeah? At a price point of $250 a month, which is a lot cheaper than a receptionist. Not only that, you'll stop spam calls. It does a bunch of things, yeah? So in creating this, what I hope to achieve is that small businesses, or everybody, has the equal opportunity to have a receptionist, right? My goal is to focus on small and medium businesses. That's who I target. That's who I focus, right? Eventually, I'll go to big businesses, but right now, small and medium businesses is who I'm working with, and I hope that this becomes the leading virtual reception system in the country. That's what I'm trying to do with this, right? And like, you can do the math. If I'm selling a product at $250 a month, right? Let's even say that it's $150 per account to run it. So that means I only make $100 per person. Yeah. Now, if you have 10 people using your software, that's $1,000 a month. I'm good at marketing. I've been marketing. So I'm like, all right, cool. I don't need just 10 people. If I can get 100 people, that's $10,000 a month. To get 100 people to buy things, guys, it's not that hard. Now, you're like, who gives a fuck how you came up with the idea first? Like, how can it help me? This is not going to help you, because this is my idea. I'm gonna really push it, market it, and change my family's wealth with this. Now, if you want to make money with AI, listen, again, this gets released next week. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. AI right now on May 30th is the Wild West. Is the Wild West. Like, it's the gold rush. Like, you get in now and there's a little potential to make money that's not going to be here within, I'd say, probably within 2 years or a year. Because unlike other industries, AI is always growing. So the concept of what I have is good. But in a year, I'm sure someone's going to come up with an idea where the AI can call people, can find people online and give them a buzz and have a conversation. Mine is not even there yet. But in a year, that's where I see this going. Now, if you're like, fuck, all right, how can I come up with something? What you need to do, right? It's not hard. Find a problem, with not even, I wouldn't say a societal problem, right? If you know about restaurants, if you know about, say, waiters, right? If you're a tradie, if you know something, an industry or thing that you're in, nothing to do with AI, nothing to do with anything, right? Like, not even you, maybe say your friends do, your parents do. Find a common problem within that industry or something that can be simplified, like something that makes no sense, and go look if there's an AI solution. And it doesn't have to be made yet, but what you can do is you can find maybe versions of like things to fix their problem. So for me, the big problem was, how many calls do you miss? How many spam calls answer your call? Whatever it may be. But let's just say a big thing for, let's go restaurants, yeah? So a big thing for restaurants might be they're having a hard time. I don't know. It's really not that hard, right? I'm trying to think. How can you use AI? 'Cause AI at the end of the day is like, it can solve any problem. But, okay, here we go. Perfect example. They now have AI systems for all these, like small companies, right? Where it'll respond to let's say, if you have a small business, you have a hard time responding to emails, you have a hard time posting on Facebook, this. There's probably an AI system that does that on a small scale. So what you need to do is you need to find the people that created it or somebody that can make a close concept of that and tell them how you want to implement it. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't take much for them to like switch it up here and there. And then if they say they can do it, and you don't have the money, like I don't have fucking, $20,000, you just tell them, hey, I'll do the marketing of it, I'll sell it, you make it, right? Just make it or tweak it and let's make a deal. You get 50%, I get 50%. Now the hard part would be the marketing aspect, which is what I do well. Yeah. And if you want help with that, then you can hit me up. If you listen to this podcast, if you hit me up before the end of June, I'll give you free advice. And I say the end of June because that means it's a month after my program's released and I'll have a bit of time. And if it works well, then this might be the podcast that blows up and people are like, I want to get his. No, I'm not going to help you after that. But right now, in general, AI is the fucking gold rush. And if you can get in, you get in now and you make your fucking money, right? Because a lot of these jobs and things that we do are going to be obsolete. So don't fall behind. Get ahead. And like I said, AI, the way it moves, your idea now might be taken in 2 years. But who knows how you can implement it, fucking 4 years from now. Like a good idea right now I was thinking about is like, you as a man, we run out of ideas for like dates or gifts, right? Even maybe girls have the same issue. Instead of asking ChatGPT, because people don't even think about asking ChatGPT, you could probably create a software where it's like, what kind of gift does somebody want, right? And it could be a cheap program. This is actually even better. and you create a website, like a fucking bullshit cheap website, and you somehow in the back end of it attach ChatGPT to it, and you prompt it with a couple of questions, right? So it's like when people get a website, they'll fill out the form like, I'm a guy, I'm looking for a gift for my girlfriend, whatever it may be, and it spits out like solutions. So let's say like, you know, like I'm a guy, it's my girlfriend's. It has option, you know, it's for my girlfriend, mom, best friend, long time old friend, whatever it is, and it's there. You can say birthday, anniversary, whatever it is. So you fill out that form, you put in a budget, and then the AI spits out solutions. I'm actually gonna write that down. I'm gonna call it AI solutions. AI solutions, but dumb shit like that works, guys. And the thing with that is you don't even have to know how to market it or even code. What you need to know is how to build a half decent website and how to connect it to a ChatGPT, which you can learn on fucking what's it called? Fucking YouTube, which is where I learned all this shit, because it is the Wild West. And if you can't learn on YouTube, it means no one's even thought of it yet, which means you have to find parts of it. So for me, I haven't found anyone that does fucking this virtual phone concept or selling this software. I haven't found it anywhere. So I'm finding people that specialize in cold emails. So that's like a separate thing. Cold emails is like when they send out emails to not random, but like to potential buyers, but they never heard of you. And I'm looking at them, and then I'm looking at my marketing stuff, and I'm like, how can I combine it? And that's how I'm focusing on this business. Like, these things don't exist yet, so you need to be ahead of the game. And it's really not that hard. Just look for a problem that even bothers you day to day, because the shit bothers me, you know? If I could come up with a concept that people could sign up online and they never have to deal with spam calls, then bam, they're done. You know? But I can't. I haven't figured that out yet. And also, people aren't going to pay more than $2. AI solutions. I'm going to do that idea about the girlfriend, the best friend, the buyer thing. That's actually genius. Alright, well, that might be the reason why I get rich, hopefully. Alright, guys. So, this thing gets launched next week. The minute I get 30 people signed up to it, I'm over the moon. I'm ecstatic. So, I just want to say good luck if you listen to this, but also it's in your hands. Like, if you fail, it's because you stopped. If I failed, it's because I stopped. It's not because it didn't work out. It's because I stopped. Because if you have an idea, it could be shit, it could be great, anything. If you don't pursue it, if you don't push it, it's gonna fail. I don't care if it's the greatest idea or the worst idea. Even the worst ideas will make you money. You just gotta be consistent and, you know. But this is not a fucking, what's it called? A fucking motivational podcast. This is a Howie podcast where I just fucking speak to the void. And from next week, we're gonna change the name up. So no more Nappy Boy Radio. It's gonna be called, I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out. I'll speak to y'all next week. Bye.
You can't kill me, nigga, I swear that I done died before. God told me that I was gonna be here back in 94. Chevrolet got that motor, diamonds all on my molars. Parking lot, I lift the door up, got your bitch snorting Coca-Cola. I can't even roll in peace, all my cars orange and green. I can't even go to sleep, your bitch keep blowing me.